So today I'd like to give you a small tip by a Pioneer Academy student. She used Pioneer Academy a couple months ago. Candela, she works in fintech in Amsterdam. And she said something so interesting that it just stuck in my brain, and I wanted to tell you about it because I think it's an important thing for you to know if you work in PR and if you want to be a good relationship for journalists, because that's ultimately what it's all about, right? You give them information and hopefully that's of course your side of the story. You hope that the journalists will write about you, but they just want you to be a good source. So it's all about being a good source, that they come to you for insights and that they are more likely to publish the insights that you proactively give them. So Candela used to be a journalist herself. So if you hear that, you might think, okay, great, she was a journalist herself, so she will probably be very good at PR. And I'm not saying she wasn't, but she came up to me and she said, I just can't get journalists to cover my story, and I don't know why, because I basically write the entire story myself. I look up all the information, I gather all the insights, and I make a well-crafted piece with all the different points of view that they can look into. Basically, I wrote the entire piece ready to be published. And I told her, and that is amazing. I mean, it's amazing that you're so resourceful, but there's just a slight mistake that you're making here. If you're in contact with a good journalist, they will write their own story. They will still do their own research. So if you're really pushing them into one direction, they're not very likely to go in that direction because they want to remain objective. And of course, Candela did this because she thought this is very useful information for you to see. But the journalist would be like, no, I'm not going to just one-on-one publish your story. Please just give me some information and I'll write my own story. I always say that you should think like a journalist, but I think I need to add a little disclaimer to that. Think like a journalist, but don't act like one. I think that's the important difference that we've seen here. So instead of giving them a story that's ready to publish, give them just little nuggets of information, little insights that will give them a new perspective on stories that they're writing about already, or give them a nugget that will open an entire new world of stories that they've never dove into. So think like a journalist. I keep saying it, of course. Make sure that you know what they think, what they want, but don't act like one.